Friends, family, fans, episode 88. The Berger King of PGA National. Not a punchline title, but it's a title nonetheless. We'll get there shortly. But this is the reason I'm 3 minutes late is because I've been looking for how to change my name. I don't want to be the Model Maniac. I want to be the Mullet Maniac today. But it's okay. Just know that I am the Mullet Maniac today. Dobbo, what's cook on the money? Showing up early. Not like my case of beer you owe me, though. But yes, boys and girls, back nine bets, fans, family, and friends, we are wearing the $100 shirt today. Boom chakalaka. We got the mullet hat on. It's probably the dirtiest this has looked with the beard. But hey, we partying. We are partying. The reason we got the mullet is because Jake Knapp won the goddamn Mexico Open. Phoebe's happy about it in the background. I kind of like this new camera angle. We got little animal action in the background. We got dog balls under the desk. It's chaos over here, just like Jake Knapp's front nine. But boy, oh boy, did he take care of business. Yeah, okay, fine. We can call it a wash, Darbo. But we have some seriously fun type of golfers we like to bet on. Yeah, we like mullets and we like Mexico. We like Mexico mullets. Cam Smith hit him 3 times in 2022. He had the mullet. He had the penguin shirt on. We have hit Eric Van Rooyen in Mexico, baby. That was our last outright. And now we did the little dirty double overlap where we have EVR and Cam Smith combusting into a Jake Knapp W at 45-1. Let's freaking go. Let's freaking go. It was a wild ride. It was a wild ride, but the hard work that we put into the Corn Ferry Tour stuff has paid off. We've had 2 winners from the Corn Ferry Tour. Your boy had Mathieu Pavon at the Amex as his one and done, and then he went and won at the Farmers the following week. Gross. But then we had Jake Knapp this week. So that was great. We were so happy. We had 65% of our lineups in DFS with Jake Knapp in it. We had 48 of our lineups make it through. We had placement bets, cash. Let's dive into those quickly. We're going to do a quick little recap because we crushed last week. Here's the boys that we bet last week for our Breaking 100 article. And Griot was inside the top 10 at one point. He missed he just boiled over. Then we had Patrick Rogers, the perennial ejector, decide to finish inside the top 10 at plus 320. Thank you, P-Rod. We had Davis Thompson finish 28th or 24th, so we almost cashed that top 20 bet. Almost. Not as bad as Grillo's ejection, but still. Steven Yeager came flying up the leaderboard on the final day to finish third for a top 20 cash. Taylor Pendrith left us nothing to be desired. He cashed out early for $0. He didn't make the cut, never stood a chance. Jake Knapp, plus 170 for a top 20. Boom chakalaka. Mark Hubbard lost 6 1/4 strokes over the weekend. Shout out to Mark Hubbard for not showing up in Mexico over the weekend. And then we had our final 3 guys. Carson Young, hold out for Eagle on the final hole. I don't know if that would have helped or not, but he still finished inside the top 20. Chan Kim finished inside the top 20 at plus 350. And Aaron Rai, our beautiful boy, the negative 125 top 40 bet that we had, cashed for a beautiful top 40. I think Rai finished inside the top 30. So things were good. So this week we're going to rock and roll. But it's a beautiful day. I just want to throw the mullet out there a little bit more. Never in my wildest dreams, folks, did I think that once Cam Smith left to live, that on the PGA Tour we'd bust out the mullet while wearing the $100 shirt. But here we are. Jake Knapp, you 29-year-old beauty boy. I love you. Talk about a swing as well. That swing it's mesmerizing. It's absolutely mesmerizing. Like, it makes me think, where does that power come from? It just comes from nowhere. It just blows your mind, blows your hair away, blows your mullet right back. But it was beautiful to see. Darbo, you decide. You're in the chat. Hit me with your case of beer bet. Let's figure it out on the show. All righty. As always, I really appreciate all of you. I also want to just off the top rope here. Code NEW is no longer. We've been supporting you at Rotoballer with 30% off with code NEW. Now we're back to Maniac for 10% off. code Maniac gets you 10% off at Rotoboard. You can get all my premium stuff. You can get my showdown model. You get all the Discord access. You get my PGA stat buffet, which has the little spreadsheet that we're going to look at here for the Corn Ferry. 28 guys playing from the Corn Ferry 45, playing this week again. So we're going to take a look at some guys. And it's not the same golf course. So we're not going to even have the same guys. We're going to deep dive at the end of the show. We're going to have different golfers because I think this course is totally different. So we're going to see what's cooking. We're going to have a good time and go use code Maniac for 10% off. You get my stuff, you get Spencer stuff, Joe Idoni stuff, Joe Nicely stuff. You get our optimizers, research stations, everything. Rotoballer has hit 2 outright winners so far, and it's been two staffers at the same time each time. So that's been fun. It hasn't been like we've been dovetailing our way around it there. So things are looking good. Let's dive into the Cognizant Honda Classic and figure out what is going on there. We've got an Engage 8 principle coming in hot and heavy. We've got the model fired up. We actually, for the first time in a hot minute, using poor shot avoidance rates versus actual good shot rates, which I think we're going to be leaning into around Florida a lot more. My Wi-Fi is giving me a hard time today, but that's okay. We're going to just deal with it and move on swiftly. So that's what's cooking. Let's do this. Right at the top of the model, and this is quite fun. You can see how Mathieu Pavant, like the upside, embraces the most recent form from these golfers. So we've got guys, this ownership is not correct. Let me just hide this out here. We haven't updated since last week. We're still waiting on some ownership to come in. It's okay. Mathieu Pavant finds himself first in the model for upside, 30th for safety. Makes a lot of sense. The more recent play, definitely waiting a little more. He won at the Farmers, finished third at Pebble. Things were good for Mathieu. He was doing good stuff. What we love about him is that he actually kind of suits this golf course a little bit better than Farmers. I know he putted his brains apart there, but if you take a look at his approach play, it's been third over the last 24 rounds, and he can putt lights out. He can pretty much do what he needs to do. The scrambling and off the tee stuff, a little rough, but he's not too shabby on these shorter courses. He's not too shabby when it comes to keeping his ball in the fairway. So we'll see what he can get up to. Nothing exceptional off the tee, but at 50-1, I feel like Mathieu Pavant is our first outright, and he's ready to rock and roll, folks. He's absolutely ready to rock and roll, and I'm not entirely sure where his thing is yet. And the fun part is we bet him over at Bet Rivers, which offers each-way placements. So we had him for an each-way, which takes your 50-1 and splits it by a fifth to give you a top 6 bet. And that means that we're getting a 10-1 for Mathieu Pavant for a top 6. Now, I kind of thought that number would come down a little bit, but people aren't as excited to bet the guy. There's 11-1s for top 5s out there. So take where you want. I know if you haven't bet Mathieu, there's still 50-1s out there. There's still lots of delightful, manageable numbers, because we've got some outrights on the card, unfortunately, that if you weren't in the Rotoballer PGA Discord, there's some names we've bet, as always, that kind of have just been absolutely chopped in half, odds-wise. So we'll see what cooks, but Mathieu Pavant, number 1 in the model, number 1 in recent strokes gained. He does his thing. Obviously, this weighted stuff for the strokes gained approach ain't going to really help us because he doesn't have enough of that, but he tends to make tons of birdies, which isn't necessarily the best thing in the world at this venue. You want to make birdies, but bogey avoidance is probably a little more important. By the way, if we're not diving into the key stats and the model settings and all that stuff this week, it's because we did that on the research show already. I want to thank you guys real quick. I'm just going to take the screen down here for a second and just say, I've really, really appreciated all 300 of you guys. As of right now, it's 303. I really want to say thank you. I think in August of last year, I had 180 or 100 and something subscribers. It's gone crazy this year. You guys have been amazing subscribing to the channel, been amazing telling your friends and family and freaking fans of yourself to show up. I really appreciate all of you subscribing. It makes me feel so good. I've been grinding my ass off at this stuff, and the YouTube side of things is tough to get subscribers. So I just want to say shout out to you guys. You guys rock. I'm going to be doing a big old giveaway. I'm potentially going to skip an episode so that my 100th episode can land on the PGA Championship, and we're going to do a big episode big giveaway. We're going to have a ton of fun when episode 100 rolls through for the PGA Championship. Just wanted to shout you guys out. You guys freaking rock. Back to your regular programming. Mathieu Pavard, 50-1. The guy's playing great golf. I don't know. I felt like that number was a fair number for somebody that's been doing some good stuff. We'll see what he can get up to. There's not a lot that we know about this guy. We're going to have to really see what cooks, but we're going to go from there. See, Darbo's still thinking in the chat, trying to figure out how to get a better bet through for the case of beer. But in the meantime, we're going to keep on scooting down the board. Our next golfer we were going to talk about. Let's see who's up next for our outrights. And it's going to be Benny On, folks, at 45-1. That was Monday morning early. It did not last long whatsoever. It was a bit of a disaster when it came to Benny On's number. I think he's sitting right now for a win at 28-1. So it's almost halved. And that, to me, is exciting for a 45-1 holder. I don't know, if you haven't jumped on Benny On just yet, there are other avenues to kind of attack his number. I think maybe a top 5 will be a better bet. Maybe we chat about that a little bit later. But Benny On at 45-1, if you take a look at what this guy's been up to, he's been flirting with victory the last few tournaments. A 4th, a 2nd, and a 16th are on his resume for the 3 of his last 5 starts. He's finished 4th at this venue, and he's finished 21st at this venue. So that's what's cooking over here. And I looked at the course history correlations, and people say this golf course is very volatile. It is. Don't get me wrong. It's a very volatile golf course. It's difficult to predict success here. But the actuality of it all is that it's actually not as bad as people think. It's like middle of the road. The Mexico Open was far less predictive than what we're going to get this week. There are golfers that have a course history that's sensational. Like Benny On, Russell Henley, guys like Eric Cole. I mean, he's only played here once. Daniel Berger. There's certain golfers that just thrive at this venue, and you got to find them. There's certain golfers that potentially haven't played well yet that are playing well right now. I tweeted out some fun stuff about golfers that are not playing good golf that are returning back to PGA National that have good course history. And I also tweeted out golfers that are playing bad golf. I can't remember which one. I just said it like half a sentence ago. But golfers that are playing well going to PGA National with bad course history. Which one's going to come through? Recent form or course history? There's certain golfers that we're going to chat about here that suit this golf course really well from a theoretical perspective, but have never made the cut. So that's what's cooking in our world. But we want to chat about Benny On. The guy's been inside the top 5 multiple times. The course history is great. The recent form's inside the top 20. Off the tee, he's got tons and tons of distance, and he actually does a lot better. If you take a look at accuracy off the tee, it's 130th for Benny On, which isn't good. He hits it a million miles. But when you take a look at what he gets up to on these shorter golf courses, he's still 16th in the field in strokes gained on these shorter courses. He dials it down very well. He's like an Asian Cam Davis. You're just going to wait to hear what egregious things you have to say before making my bet. Oh, so Darbo's playing the waiting game. I see how it goes, Darbo. All good. Hey, you're in control back there behind the keyboard there, brother. So let's go back to Benny On. I just love what he can do dialing it back. I love the course history. I love the recent form. I think he's due for a hot minute here. If you take a look at what he gets up to, his wedges are typically very good. His long irons are very good from a good shot perspective. The strokes gained approach numbers from a poor shot avoidance. So a poor shot avoidance. This is probably the first time we've mentioned it here on the Roto Baller Back 9 Bets show. A poor shot avoidance is when you lose half a stroke on one approach shot. So that means hitting your ball in the water. That means hitting it in a spot that you should, as a professional golfer, know you should never hit it to, yet they still do. So even, like if you short side yourself, bad, or if you hit it into like a bad bunker or something like that, you lose over half a stroke. And that is a poor shot avoidance metric. That's what we're going to be using here. We want guys that are very consistent, that don't typically have those very bad, volatile approach shots that land up in water. So, for instance, let's just go to Russell Henley here. Take a look at Russell Henley's poor shot avoidance from 100 to 150. It's second in the field. His good shot rate's only 23rd. So, Russell, if you think about why he succeeds around you, is he's just plodding along. His poor shot avoidance is the best of his strokes gained, good shot, or poor shot avoidance, of those three metrics, his poor shot avoidance is the best of those three. So getting back to Benny On, he's also kind of in that range where the poor shot avoidance is still doing good. You know, that he hits a lot of good shots, which is why he makes so many birdies. If you take a look at his birdie rate, it's sensational. It's seventh over the last little while. The bogey avoidance has been a little rough lately. That's okay. I think, we know what Benny On's been up to over the last little while. He can get it done. He's exceptionally good around the greens usually, and he has been inside the top 20 the last little while. The putting's been a problem. We've come from Poa. We'll have to see what happens. I'm not entirely sure if he's a fan of Poa greens. So maybe he can putt well on these Bermuda greens out in Florida yet again. Pavan, FanDuel, and Caesars, Illinois, 60-1. Yes. Oh, baby. Nice, dude. Yeah. If Bet Rivers, I can't cash out the 50. I kind of expected that number to go a little different, but it didn't quite go the other way. So good for you. Go grab that 60, dude. I dig it, Mike. I dig that stuff for you. So that's what Benny On's situation is. The guy's been finishing inside the top 5 in like 17% of his last 12 months worth of starts. It's been really impressive from Benny. So we'll see what he gets up to. I'm excited for him. I really, really am. The ball striking has been good. We'll have to see. The putting, as you can, if we went back to the quick little, let's do this quickly and I'll just show you guys. We'll take a little quick tangent here. The putting is slightly below tour average here. You can get away with bad putting at this venue. Off the tee distance accuracy, not nearly as important as tour average. So there's a lot to be desired. Around the green and approach play seems to be a bit more normal than tour average at this venue, like a bit more important. And particularly from 125 to 200, where we see about 2/3 of the shots coming from there. So quick little jump into why we like those kind of metrics this week and looking for guys that can play well in those kind of situations. So next up, we're going to get back to Russell Henley. We're not betting him outright. We've got another bet for him. Next up, we got Tom Kim, folks. Tom Hoagie. Got Tom Hoagie sitting here in the model. Where's he popping up here? Tom Hoagie, 9th in the upside model, 36th. So he sees a big jump from 36th in safety to 9th in upside, which means his recent form, his 75th percentile strokes gain numbers over the last little while are really high up there. And that's what's scooting him up the board there. If you take a look at what Tom Hoagie's been up to the last little while, starting since the Farmers, we've got ourselves a 6th at Pebble, a 17th at the Phoenix Open, and an 8th at the Genesis. He didn't play in Mexico, so he's got a week off. And that was after 7 consecutive starts for Tom Hoagie. 7 consecutive starts. So maybe a nice little break for him just for 1 week off. Helps him recharge. He looks like he's in fantastic form. Let's see what he can do. He's 66-1. And I'm pretty sure that most of you that were staring at the screen right now are looking at those dark red 300s from 2021 through 2019, where Tom Hoagie has not played good golf here. But you know what? It's 2024. That was 2021. We're going to forget about that. We're going to forget about it. Tom Hoagie has had 3 consecutive top 20s. He's had 2 of his last 3 starts inside the top 8. 4 of his last 5 starts have been top 20s, actually. So Tom Hoagie, I was really eyeing out a top 20 on Tom Hoagie. If you take a look at his top 20 rate, it's been 27%, but that's over the last 12 months. He's like top 20ing at like a 80% clip. He's been top 20ing at an 80% clip over the last 5. You take a look at the Century and the Sony, then you can dull it down to 4 out of the last 7. So that's still pretty darn good this year since the calendar year has begun. I don't think I can get to him, though, for the top 20. It just concerns me at this golf course, the fact that he's got that course history. But we like him for upside. We like him for the win. If he does it, he does it. I think if he plays well, yeah, he can contend. If he doesn't, he's going to miss the cut. Even at plus 200, I'm not thrilled about going to him here. We'll have to just kind of hope he wins the tournament because that's our exposure to Tom Hoagie this week. I'm scared about his volatility at this golf course. I am. I'm very scared about it. But you never know. The guy's irons have been great. There's one other golfer in this field who we'll discuss here shortly or a little bit later that has better iron play over the last 24 rounds. But Tom Hoagie's second. the ball striking, even with off the tee stuff. Like if you take a look at his off the tee, usually it's terrible. But over the last little while, he's kind of hitting his driver nicely. 60th in the field. The around the green play has always been bad for Tom Hoge. That's maybe why he struggles here. But the putting has been good over the last 24 rounds. So maybe Tom Hoge can actually light it up on the greens when he's hitting those irons close, just like Tom Hoge does. And if you take a look at Tom Hoge's push shot avoidance, it's 34th in the field. It's not necessarily the best of his three stats. He's much better with strokes gained. And then in between there, we've got good shot rates. If you take a look at the longer numbers from 150 and out, it's the good shot rate is insane. He hits it dead stiff the third most times in this field of everybody, but the strokes gained is 14th and the poor shot avoidance is 84th. So that's the thing with Tom Hoge is like he hits a few bad shots, and maybe when there's so much water around you, things can go sour. So we're going to go for the upside at 66-1. I feel like he's hitting his irons just far too good. We'll have to see what he can get up to. I'm worried about the blow-up potential, so I'm just limiting our exposure to a Tom Hoge outright. I love the upside. Maybe we'll bet him in DFS if the ownership suggests we kind of can lean into that. But till then, we'll make those decisions tomorrow when I have, what's my buddy's name, Joe Idoni on the show. We're going to be doing Hacking in Hollywood with WWF, WWE. He doesn't know anything about a series. He doesn't watch TV shows. He's got kids, so he doesn't know anything about shows. So we're going to have to just do WWE, which is cool. It's still Hollywood. It's acting. It's fun. So we'll see what goes on there with Joe Idoni tomorrow night at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. Tune in for that. Boom chakalaka. Daniel Berger is the name of the podcast. Is he the Berger King of PGA National? Daniel Berger, in my opinion, is the king of PGA National, but the unheralded king. He's here to the throne. The course history has 10th. If we go back, let's go take a quick peek at what Daniel Berger's got up to at this venue over the last little while. We've got a 4th in 2020 and a 4th in 2022. By the way, just by the by, we're jumping in and out of the screen like goddamn Usain Bolt out of the blocks in a 100-meter dash, but it's okay. This is my 2-year anniversary with Rotoballer, is the Honda Classic. I know that this is my event because the very first article I wrote was with Daniel Berger as the outright 2 years ago. He went into Sunday's round with a 5-shot lead and finished 4th. It was a week ago when Jake Knapp went into the final round with a 4-shot lead and won. So things have turned. I was going to say, not this time of the year again, not today, Satan, not today. So Daniel Berger's a redemption season. I think he was 16-1 that year. Obviously, he was playing much better golf. Obviously, so much better, like performances leading up to the week. But if there's a time for him to break out, and at 50-1, we get a guy who has been playing okay. Like the last 3 starts, he's finished 39th, missed the cut, the Farmers, whatever, and then 28th at the Phoenix Open. So there's some interesting stuff that Berger's been up to. I'm just diving in at 50-1 as a complete maniac mullet play. I know Berger burnt us the last time. We had burnt patties everywhere. He dropped the Berger, whatever you want, call it, kicked it as he's trying to pick it up. But his comp courses. So comp courses that we pulled into this week were TPC Sawgrass, Innisbrook Resort Copperhead course, Harbour Town, TPC Southwind. These are all courses that Daniel Berger has thrived at in the past. Like he's built for these kind of venues. And I know the good people that bet the number are saying that a draw is a good shot to have around this golf course. That's why, Chris Kirk have played well here and got the likes of. But Daniel Berger hits this like safe power cut. So he knows where the danger is and he starts it way left of it and then hits that hard power cut right at it. We've got some questions in the chat. How can we get access to your model? I love Rotoballer Premium, but do not see it. So my model isn't necessarily available. We can chat what happened, what had happened. Shoot me a message on Twitter or something. Leave your contact details. I'll get out to you and chat to you about that. Joanne's like, oh yeah, it's different from West Coast to East Coast, baby. And just a little quick side note on that. I really think this is important. There's going to be guys that show up with recent form that looks amazing. We've come from the Farmers. We've come from the Amex. We've come from places that are just like bombers' paradises. I know people don't like that cliche, but that's the fact that we've seen out here. Mexico, the Farmers, the Amex, all big driving courses. Now we're down to Florida, where you got to make sure you don't hit in the water, where you position your drives in the right place. Your iron shots have to be in the right spots on the greens, not in the water. So looking at guys like this, make sure that you're looking at their previous course history on the East Coast here. It's very important. Joanne makes a great point. I think you have to ensure that your golfers that have good form coming in here have the right skill set to take down this golf course. And by the way, FRL, my buddy, thank you so much for the compliment there. I had my third show on the Mayo Media Network today talking about best bets. So those of you that are saying that I was a good shot there, you know the 3 bets we're going to be speaking about today. But that's okay. I really appreciate you reaching out to me about that. That's awesome, man. I know it's really a dream come true. It's freaking a dream come true, because 2 years ago, riding around Daniel Berger, nobody knew who I was, blah, blah, blah. 2 years later, a few hours ago, I just got off with Pat Mayo speaking about best bets. Isn't that so cool? So I just want to thank you all. Like, I couldn't have done this without you guys. I couldn't have done it without Spencer. I couldn't have done it without Joe, nicely out there at Rotoballer. Everybody's been so supportive, and we are starting to strap in and go to the moon, folks. We've been having a fun time here, and now it's time to get serious. Now it's time to have some fun. So we're going to really be doing that. I appreciate you guys for saying that. That's awesome. I had a blast. I never thought I'd be saying anything about a sex swing on a podcast, never mind one that's got like 45,000 subscribers, but there we were. So life goes on. So Daniel Berger, maybe he can get out the sex swing and just finish up here. I think we got 2 fourth place finishes that I think he can really do some good things. We're getting 50-1. I feel like that's a good number. If he finishes inside the top 10 this week, we're going to start seeing Berger south of 20-1 again in these tournaments that are coming up at Sawgrass, at Innisbrook, all those golf courses that he plays well at. If he plays well this week, that number's going to plummet. So expect Berger to be in the mix. Scooting on down the board, let's find ourselves another outright over here. And we're going to call this guy Tom Kim. He's sitting over here all the way, not necessarily as high up in the model. Ooh, the model's not filtered. What's going on there? That's interesting. There we go. Oh, fun times. Look at what we just did. Nice. Just broke it. Okie dokie. Give me 2 seconds. I was wondering why that didn't work. Fun times. Yeah. Let's just figure this out quickly, folks. Give me 2 seconds. I've got to find my certain stuff here quick. We're panicking. We are panicking, yeah. Okie dokie. 2024. That's not it. Is it research? Boom, boom. This is the joys of having your own model. See, this is why I don't put it out there, what had happened. So I think once we pull this up, it should figure itself out. I need to change this up so that it's still inside this massive file, but life goes on. Whew. That also gives me 2 seconds to just take a quick drink of water, and we can start talking about Tom Kim. That's not a good omen, is it? You pull up Tom Kim and all of a sudden just everything goes to shit. Or maybe he avoids it. Maybe we find value. Maybe we find what we need from Tom Kim in the world in the next few little bits. But if you speak about our type, it's Cam Smith, it's Mexico, it's Mullets, it's Penguin Originals, and it's Tom Kim. We have been on Tom Kim for 2 of his 3 wins. We knew he was going to play well at the Shriners when he won again. We didn't think he would win again, especially when he was like 12-1, some ridiculous number. But you know what? That's okay. We kind of just went with Tom Kim. The screen's gray. I'm not going to let you guys stare at that. I'm going to just chat to you about Tom Kim off the cuff here, because if you even take a look at the model, it's not necessarily what you want from Tom Kim. I have a lot to say about small hands Tom Kim, and I feel like small hands Tom Kim really suits this golf course very nicely. I think what he does best is just get hot. And I think Tom Kim finding himself in a situation where volatility kind of I don't want to bet Tom Kim for like top 20s, top 10s. He hasn't been profitable in those markets at all. It's going to be an issue. But for an outright, he just spikes. This guy has been on the PGA Tour for 18 months and has won 3 times. This is the first time he's going to be playing here, so we'll see what he gets up to. But I think he can really get things going. I think he'll be just fine doing his thing. The model is in complete shambles right now, speaking about Tom Kim. Maybe we just need to cash him out. Maybe we just got to cash out Tom Kim. Like, we are not, model's even broken now. It's like, it's not responding. This is the fun stuff. This is fun. Fun. I'm just going to close it down and get back into it. Restart the program. Oh boy. The joys of Tom Kim. What was he doing all the way down there? Why wasn't he in the top of the model? So we're going to wait for the model to restart, and then we'll get back into it, yeah. But I think Tom Kim, small hands, accurate off the tee. He's one of the best iron players in the field. You know what I'm saying? Like, when he dials it in, he dials it in. His putting's been pretty shitty the last little while, but when it comes to figuring it out, no, I'm not going to do a T18 for a case of Keystone, because I'm just telling you, you're just literally taking what I'm saying and ignoring it, Darbo. I'm telling you, I'm not going to bet Tom Kim for a top 20. I'm going to bet him to win the tournament. I'll bet you a case of beer he doesn't win the tournament if you give me 45 cases of beer. How does that sound? I'm just kidding. Find another guy for another top 18 bet. I'll take Russell Henley. I don't know how much you're going to be into Russell, but he's the guy I'm kind of a big fan of this week. Okay. Boom. Look at this. We're back. And we're back. Tom Kim. All the way down here. We're not even going to try and filter on him. I don't know what he's doing at the bottom, but it is what it is. Let's figure it out and go from there. So take a look here. He's only profitable in the winning market. In the outright market, Tom Kim is the guy. If you take a look at what he gets up to from a T5, top 10, top 20s in particular, Darbo, look how unprofitable he's been. He's only inside the top 20 33% of the time in the last 12 months. But his comp courses are very nice. He's played nicely at the Players. He's done good stuff. So that's what Tom Kim's situation is. If you take a look at his poor shot avoidance rates, we've got a lot of these. What is going on here? We've got some really interesting stuff. From 150, his strokes gained is a little rough, but either side of that, I think I spoke about this on the research show. What on earth? How can you be this good from 100 to 150 and then 200 and out? But like, what on earth is going on? But what is exciting about this, 20th in poor shot avoidance from 100 to 150, wedges, 16th in poor shot avoidance from 150 to 200, those mid irons. And then from 200 and out, the poor shots get a little worse, but his strokes gained are 10th. So I don't know what to make of that. I'm kind of in between on the long iron stuff, but we see only 66%, 64% of shots are coming from 125 to 200. So we're not going to see too many long iron shots this week. We're going to see those mid irons with a few wedges, like pitching wedges, not sand wedges or lob wedges, pitching wedges, gap wedges, 9 irons, those kind of clubs into the green this week. So that's what we like from Tom Kim. The putting, if we go over here to his putting, it's been terrible. Like the stuff is bad. Like, he's not a good putter at times, but sometimes he putts amazing. He absolutely dials it up. So the birdie rates, the bogey avoidance, it's all there. By the way, par 5 scoring this week, there's only 2 of them. Not very important to me. Oh, I guess there's 3 because they changed 1, but it was a par 4 in general. So just assume that these guys are going to be making 4 on there anyway. Fun stuff. But Tom's been trending. 31st at Pebble, 17th at the Phoenix, 24th at the Genesis. We're going to see what he gets up to. He hasn't played here before. So that's what Tom's up to. 31, 32 to 1, 30 to 1, wherever you can find it. I think Better Golf Odds had a 35 out there. So that's delightful if you want to get into that. Miles, we are going to get to Steven Jaeger here shortly. I promise. I think he's going to be a definite bet for us, but a placement bet. Steven Jaeger is one of the guys that I don't think is going to win on the PGA Tour. And if he does, I'm not going to be on him because I just don't think he's going to do it. We'll take a quick look here because I want to tell you about it. Look at this. If you filter on guys with the worst win rate, please don't break. Beautiful. Okay. Let's go upside down. The worst is Sungjae, Cameron Young, Eric Cole, Rory McIlroy, and then Steven Jaeger. Like everyone keeps betting Jaeger, and the better he's playing, the shorter his price tag is getting. And it's like you're losing a lot of equity just betting on Steven Jaeger. The same goes with Russell Henley, who we'll get to here shortly too. So that's kind of what the situation is. Looks like we can filter the model the way we wanted to without it breaking again. So that's good to go. Tom Kim in the hizzy now. Let me sweeten the pot. You get 2 cases if you top 10s. I get only 1 if he finishes worse than T16. Oh, so now we're changing it to T16 for us T18. No. Darbo, I do not want to deal with a Tom Kim bet. I've just laid it out to you. I don't want to deal with that nonsense. Find a better bet. I'm putting it down, shutting that shit down. Let's talk about some other names. We've got other names that we need to get to you. This is the betting show on Back 9 Bets. Best bets, baby. So we've spoken about multiple players so far, and we're going to actually go back to a guy who's kind of down the model here. But if you take a look at the safety ranking, he's 11th, but the recent upside, the recent performances aren't quite there for our guy, Chris Kirk, at 45-1. Over the last little while, he's kind of lost the plot, since he broke our hearts with Sahith Theegala over down in Hawaii, where he just went unconscious and decided to play the best golf of his life when Sahith was making a charge. And then he decides to just do whatever he feels like afterwards. So as you can see, Chris Kirk won here last year, won at the Sony at a ridiculous odd. So that's why he's gained you $163 in the winning market there. Every other market has been non-profitable for you. He hasn't had many top 10s. He hasn't had many top 5s, but he's a top 40 beast. So at 45-1, maybe we go to Chris Kirk as well at a top 40. Let's take a quick peek here. I'm all over the place, so we're kind of doing some last-minute shopping for ourselves too, but that's okay. I'm going to look for Chris Kirk top 40 and see if that makes sense at all for us. Chris Kirk top 40 is minus 150. I don't know about that, but let's take a look and see what the probability of that is. Minus 150 for Chris Kirk means 60%. He does it 54% of the time. If you take a look at what he gets up to at this course, it's been the last 3 times he's done it. And if you take a look at 3 of his last 4 starts, he's done it too. So that's interesting for Chris Kirk. Ooh, that's a lot of juice, but I kind of don't mind it. We had a question over here about how about bads for, okay. We'll get to bads here, Mondo, shortly. I don't know. He's down the board. We'll get to him. We're still speaking about outrights right now, but I have got you in the mix. So Chris Kirk, obviously he's gone back to back. This guy's like the breaker of chains. He's the Khaleesi of the PGA Tour. He won at the Century when he should never really have. So that's basically he's won twice in a 2-year span. Does he go back to back here? Got good course history. He typically plays well here. The problem with him is that he just hasn't really been firing. But this is a golf course that can really suit your eye. If you go to a place like this, Chris Kirk can show up out of nowhere. And I feel like for a returning champion, Chris Kirk at 45-1 is a very fair price tag. Don't you think? If you just think about if Chris Kirk won this again, would you be shocked? You wouldn't, because he plays well at this golf course. And you would have been mad at yourself for not going to him at 45-1. You would have been pissed. I'm very scared to lay negative odds on golfers this week because of how volatile this golf course is. So that is one thing I want to mention is I'm trying to not lay $45 to win my 30 back on Chris Kirk. If he misses out, that's a big chunk of my exposure that's just on one golfer. I'm looking to kind of fire at long odds and kind of scatter plot the board this week. So we're going to leave Chris Kirk alone, even though I kind of like what's going on here. I feel like the top 40 rate checks out for Chris Kirk, despite, what he's doing lately. I love the course history. If he wins this thing, no one will be shocked. That's how we're rocking and rolling. So we love Chris Kirk this week. Scooting on down. I am thirsty. We've got a few more bets. we've got a few more bets, and they are getting longer. They are getting significantly longer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Number 7, Andrew Novak, Jack Horseman. Let's just pull him up here. I have no idea where he would be in the model because we are kind of trying to harvest some short-term profitability from this guy. He's only 38th. Okay, it's not too shabby. He's right in the mix here. So he's 38th in the model for upside. He's 40th for safety. That's good to see. If you've been betting Andrew Novak over the last 12 months in the top 10 market, you would have been very prosperous, mostly because of the Phoenix Open and the Mexico Open, where he finished 8th and 8th. So the guy's figuring it out. He finished 29th here in 2023 after missing the cut the year before. So we've got some good form. We've got reasonable course history. And if you take a look at what Novak's been doing, when Novak plays good golf, when he's hitting his irons well. And he's 9th in the field over the last 24 rounds in strokes gained approach. So that's good to see. If you take a look at where he really thrives from a weighted perspective, his weighted poor shot avoidance is 16th in this field, which means that takes all the different proximity buckets and makes the ones that are most repeated, like it's going to take, it prorates it. So if there's a bucket that sees a lot more action, that weighting is going to be higher, like in proportional basis to kind of get it to a weighted situation there. That's why we see a weighted strokes gained approach. Like you can see guys that have good approach play that sometimes don't necessarily thrive when it comes to this golf course. I know Sepp Striker won here, but we've got interesting numbers in comparison to what his baseline approach play is across the board versus a weighted perspective. You know, it kind of changes things up for you. Like Adam Svensson, not necessarily a very good wedge player, but he's exceptionally good from 150 to 200. That's why you see his weighted strokes gained over here is 8th and not 33rd. So that's kind of the situation we're looking at, and we'll have to go from there. Back to who we were speaking about is Andrew Novak. We've got to find him because I forgot to change his color. Boom chakalaka, here he is. So we were saying Andrew Novak's been balling out on approach, and when you take a look at his weighted stuff, this is for the last 12 months. The poor shot avoidance rate is very good. So he doesn't hit a lot of bad shots, and it's very, very good from 150 to 200. He's not a wedge guy. That's potentially why he played quite nicely down in Mexico with the long irons. If you take a look at what he did, what was the other 8th place finish? It was the Phoenix, which is also a similar kind of proximity bucket for this golf course. I think 125 to 200 is where you're going to experience most of those shots at the Phoenix. So this week he should be doing the same stuff. Incredible stuff. The good shot rate from 150 to 200, very bad. But the poor shot avoidance is good. So that's good to see. I'm looking for guys that are going to be safer, just making pars, repeating par after par after par. This should mean that Andrew Novak's bogey rate is much better than his birdie rate, right? Theoretically, yeah. So if you take a look at his historical bogey rate, it's 41st, but his birdie rate's 108. So that makes a lot of sense. Someone that's going to be just hitting a lot of non-good shots, avoiding poor shots, makes far less bogeys, but far less birdies too. So that's the situation. Potentially, Andrew Novak needs to be in your outright first-round leader market as well. I think he's a definite consideration there. He's 23rd in the field in round one scoring, and then it just goes to shit. But he's been playing a lot better the last little while. So we'll see what he gets up to. I think those two T8s have really given him some confidence. He's 220 to 1. I'm assuming his first-round leader market will be around 180 to 1. We'll see what he gets up to there. So he's someone I'm really looking at investing in. I don't know if I want to bet the top 10. I don't want to bet the top 20s on him there. I think those are just from his last two. We're taking a shot in the dark on Novak at 220 to 1. I think the market's kind of adjusted. The majority of that value is now gone. If we take a look at what Andrew Novak's numbers are now, I don't think there's much better than a 120 to 1 for Novak. So we'll have to take a quick look here. If you go to Novak on this beautiful one, we're going to see Andrew Novak is still 160 to 1 out there. So it's down, but it's still available at Bet365. Go grab yourself an Andrew Novak. I think that's still a solid number. So go grab one of those and see what you get up to with old Bojack Novak. Then we have one more golfer. One more golfer before we get into the placement market. And he's all the way down here because he's been playing some really bad golf over the last little while, but he's also been doing some really, really good stuff recently. And if you take a look at what this guy's up to, CT Pan over the last 16 tournaments over the last 12 months is just profiting across the board. He spikes, he dikes, he doesn't quite dike. He does look like a dike. I don't know. We are all over the place on back nine bets, but getting back to our regular paid programming here, he finished third at Mexico Open. He finished third at the Cognizant Classic, the Honda, in 2021, and then he finished 16th in 2022. So the last 2 times he's played here, we've had a top 16 and a top 3, and we just had a top 3 finish at Mexico. So if there was ever a time for this kind of momentum just to keep rolling at a golf course he's played well at in the past, CT Pan is definitely under consideration here. He is under. He's not under consideration. He has been considered, and we have bet him at 300 to 1. Pop that in the Discord. His last 24 rounds on the birdie or better stuff is not showing up. Let's pull that up real quick. Make sure that we get it figured out so we can show you guys exactly. It's a little bit behind the scenes stuff here, and then we can see what he's been doing over the last little while. Okay, we're freezing the computer again. Don't click buttons you shouldn't be clicking on the stream. Don't click buttons you shouldn't be clicking on the stream. Let's see if we can even just find him without even clicking buttons. We are all over the place, folks. All over the place. There he is. CT Pan. This is the joys of finding stuff from all sorts of different avenues. So CT Pan back in the mix. Last 24 rounds with the bogeys have been pretty good. The birdie or better rates, not so good. So the bogey avoidance is moving in the right direction, going to a course that you need that. So I love what CT Pan's up to. The Bermuda putting, obviously pretty shitty, but that's okay. We're going to see what he gets up to in the other departments. He's pretty solid at avoiding poor shots with the wedges. He's okay at avoiding them with the mid irons, and then he's pretty darn good inside the top 40, 38th, in avoiding poor shots from 200 and out. So pretty much every bucket is okay outside of the one that's probably the most important, but he still plays pretty well here, and I think he sees this golf course quite nicely. I wonder what CT Pan's top 10 rate is. So he basically finishes inside the top 10 every time he finishes inside the top 20. So let's actually pull him up. I think I might be interested in betting him, especially if Bet365 is the one that has the best outrights. It most likely means his top 10 rate is 11 to 1 for a top 10. Interesting. We're in. His top 10 odds are delightful. He's 22 to 1 for a top 5. Let's do a top 10. I'm going to do a CT Pan top 10 at 11 to 1. That's an 8% implied probability over the last 16 tournaments. He's done it at 25% clip. I mean, the top 5 rate is also insane. I mean, you could bet a little bit on the top 5, a little bit on the top 10 if you really feel like it. Maybe we do that as well. I mean, we bet him. I feel like those odds are pretty nice. 22 to 1. If he finished inside the top 5 again at 22 to 1, you hardly have to bet anything to get a massive return there. If he doesn't, so be it. I like it a lot. So in fact, we're going to do both. We're going to do 22 to 1, and we're going to bet 11 to 1 for CT Pan to finish inside the top 10 and the top 5. He's done it in the last few starts. Let's take a quick peek here. It hasn't been recently, at least. So I'm going to pull up Data Golf quickly just to see where he did it. I'm kind of curious now. We probably should have done this stuff on the research show, but hey, this is what we get you. We get some ADD infused situations, and we're going to rock and roll. CT Pan, 3rd at Mexico, 9th at the Sandersons, 3rd at the RBC Canadian, 4th at the Byron Nelson. Miscuts abound in every situation there. So he's absolutely a top 10, it's holy cow. It's miscut, top 5. Miscut, 70th, 64th, miscut, top 10. WD, miscut, 3rd. What on earth is going on? Do we get a little double down here, or do we see a miscut? I don't know. I feel like at 22 to 1 and at 11 to 1, those are very palatable situations to kind of bet a certain CT Pan at, and we're going to be going there. And that concludes our outrights for the day. Let's dive into a few guys that we're going to be betting for placements. And I'm actually going to pull up Steven Yeager. We're going to keep these NAs out of here. Where are they? We don't have them. Okay. Let's do this. Boom chakalaka. Get these out of here. And we're back in business. So we're going to go to Steven Yeager. Who was it that was asking? Miles. If you're still with me, Miles, let me know, brother. Let's get into Steven Yeager's situation and see what a Yeager top 20 is going to look like for us. We're going to figure it out and go from there. So Yeager top 20, let's research it real quick. I have a whole bunch of other top 20 bets that I'm going to be doing that I have already bet. So we can take a quick peek at Yeager. He's going to be way up in the board here. So his top 20 is plus 145. Ooh, I kind of like that. He's fourth in upside, fourth in safety, 12th in upside. So I kind of almost prefer the safety to come through there. 41% implied probability for a top 20. He's doing it 36% of the time over the last 25 starts. He has a top 20 in 3 of his last 5. Not anything in between. So he's gone from being like a top 40 beast to a top 20 beast. And that's good to see. He finished 14th in 2023. That's also good to see. And I think Yeager's playing some good golf right now. He just needs to figure out these weekend rounds. He has one bad weekend round per a tournament, and that's what gave him the T3 at Mexico and not like a win. He kind of ejected himself out of the mix in Saturday's round. So we'll have to see what he gets up to. The way to bet Steven Yeager is a top 20. Look at this. He's been super profitable in that market. So Miles, thank you for asking that question. We will be betting Steven Yeager at plus 145. Ty's paid in full for that situation right there. Boom chakalaka, baby. Let's go. So Steven Yeager is a top 20 bet at plus 145. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to do it. I like it a lot. Officially there for Steven Yeager at plus 145. I'm going to drop this bet on us right now. No, my location isn't working. Wonderful. Moving on. We'll get back to that. So I'm going to put this in yellow so I remember. Bam, bam. Scooting on down, we're going to go all the way up here to Russell Henley in 5th spot. And Russell Henley is on the card for a top 20. And there's nobody, and I mean nobody, that is more profitable outside of Russell Henley that's not named Scotty Scheffler in any other betting market. He is a beast. For those of you that listen to the Pat Mayo show, this was my first bet, my gold boy bet. If you want to bet to win $100 for Russell Henley every tournament he plays, if you bet to win 100 over the last 12 months, 19 starts, you would have won $703. That's ridiculous. It's a rate of return of 50% on your investment. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. For guys that have played way more rounds than this, let's take a look here. It's not going to be even close. Like all of these high percentage rate of returns are all 4 to 5 rounds of golf, 6 rounds of golf. Once you get here to Ryan Brehm, what on earth? His odds have been terrible. But Henley fits right in. His rate of return is incredible, and he's consistently returning you your money. So that's what we love about Russell Henley. And in fact, this golf course suits him so well. If you take a look at what he's been up to in the last 3 starts here, yes, they were in 2021, 2020, and 2019, but they were all top 20s. All top 20s. And if you think about places that Russell Henley plays well at, it's the Sony, it's the Wyndham. It's places, I don't know how he does at Harbour Town. Let's take a look at his comp courses. Does he do well at these other places? Comp courses, 35th in the field. Whatever. But the course history here is great. So that's exciting to see what Russell Henley can get up to. He's been playing solid golf over the last 24 rounds. Love Russell. The problem with him has been the putting. We've come from POA. We're going back to Bermuda. Let's take a look at his splits across those markets. Take a look at this, though. First in accuracy off the tee. I mean, he's so freaking accurate. I love that. So he gains strokes on these shorter courses way better than he does just in general. So we love to see that. The poor shot avoidance rate with the wedges is great. The poor shot avoidance rate with the mid irons is okay. We don't mind that. His good shot rates are just so conservative. They're easily the worst of the 3 characteristics that we're looking at for golfers this week. Does not like to hit a lot of good shots. which makes him almost seem like the putting can be really frustrating, but it is what it is. Take a look at his putting, 101st in baseline, 135th from 5 to 15 feet. You move that to Bermuda, it's 44th and 55th. Half. He gets incredibly better. 31st in Bermuda to base like trajectory. He jumps a ton up the board with the putting there. So we'll see what he can get up to. He's 38th and 43rd in birdie or better rates, but in his overall bogey avoidance rates, it's 11th. So he suits this golf course perfectly. He's plus 120 to finish inside the top 20 at a golf course he's done it the 3 last times he's played at. And we've also seen him absolutely just dominating the top 20 market. He didn't finish anywhere. He finished 24th at the Genesis, but he finished 4th at the Sony, which was good to see. The 24th at the Genesis, I don't know if I like that golf course for him. So I like this golf course for him a lot. So Russell Henley, top 20, plus 120. Let's go. Next up, Benny On, top 5. No ties paid in full. We're getting plus 650 at DraftKings and plus 500 at Bet365 to give us a Benny On top 5. How I typically say you want to embrace the plus money bets is you need a rule of thumb. So if you take, I said this on the Pat Mayo show, if you take the first like 2 numbers of the odds, so like if it's plus 500, 5.0, times that by 3, it should give you 150. So you need 150 points to get from 500 to plus 650 in order to be close to consideration to kind of take the ties away. If you get like, for instance, plus 600, I don't know if I would have bet the no ties. I would have gone to the ties paid in full at a little bit less odds. So that's how we're doing it here. If it's plus 100, you need a plus 135 or better with no ties to consider it. So that's kind of how you want to do a rule of thumb, betting ties versus no ties. But typically you want to bet ties paid in full with plus money bets. And if you get really better odds with the no ties paid in full, the dead heat rules, but the odds are better. The negative odds, they typically happen much more likely. So your guys are going to be much higher up in the top 20 market going there. So that's what's cooking with Benny On. We're going to do a top 5 with him. If you take a look at his top 5 rate, it's a solid situation. It's his most profitable market. He finishes inside the top 5 at a 17% clip. He finished inside the top 10 at a 22% clip. So when he's inside the top 5, when he's inside the top 10, he's inside the top 5. So that's the situation you want to look at with Benny On. You can also bet him in the top 40 market, but I think his odds are just far too short to even get there. So I think a top 5 for him, we bet him outright. I think betting him for a top 5 as well, if he just kind of misses out on the win, we know we're still going to have a good shot at him. As we spoke about Benny On already, he's played well. Yeah, he had a 4th place finish. He's had 2 top 5s in his last 5 starts, along with the 16th place in his last start too. So he's kind of moving in the right direction. We like what Benny On can get up to. Implied probability of a plus 650 bet is 13%, and his top 5 rate is 17 overall. And he has finished top 5 here in the past. So I think we got a solid edge there. I like what we can get up to. Keith Mitchell, again, I was looking at him. The thing with this is everybody is on Keith Mitchell right now. I don't like it. Like, I think people are looking at Keith and seeing that he's playing good golf over the last 19th in recent form. He's had a 19th, a 17th. Like, that's good, but it's not like amazing. Like, this guy doesn't get inside the top 5 anymore. People are saying he's got this win that he had in 2019. Sure. He's also missed the cut, finished 53rd, and then finished 9th. The thing is, I don't think Keith Mitchell will do anything better than 9th. He's just not feeling it. Like, he hasn't had a top 5 in the last 12 months. 2 top 10s here and there, but he's much better at the top 40 rates. So we're kind of looking in that department, but I don't like a top 40 number. Laying that amount of juice at a volatile course like this, I can't do it. So we're going to leave him alone. We have another bet, though, we're going to talk about. And his name is Eric Cole. And we're going to start. We've got 2 bets. Mentioned this on the Mayo show. Eric Cole, top 20 at plus 140. Take a look at what Eric Cole's been up to in the top 20 market. If you want to bet Eric Cole to finish out the top 20, $100 every tournament to return, he would have won you $513 over the last 12 months, which includes 32 tournaments. The Iron Man of the PGA, just rolling through courses. He finished second here last year to Chris Kirk. It's the only time he's ever played. On other courses like this, he's 11th in comp course history, and his recent form is 9th in the field. So a lot to like about Eric Cole. A lot. If you take a look at his top 20s, 14th at the Century, 13th at the Sony. We bet him top 20 at the Amex, finished 21st. Mr. Cut the Farmers, we knew that wasn't going to be a good situation for him. Pebble, 14th. Beautiful. The Waste Management Phoenix Open had a bit of a rough one. I think he got off in the wrong wave. Finished 49th. Still did okay. Then finished 10th at the Genesis. Like, he's doing good stuff. He's doing good stuff. He also plays his best golf in round one. So that's the situation there with Eric Cole. We love him for a top 20, and we're also going to bet him for a top 5. And I don't know if I would go to a top 5 had I not placed this bet on the Mayo Show. But I like him for a top 5 at plus 550, but it's now plus 450. With ties paid in full over there at Bet365, he's been doing that quite nicely too. If you take a look at Eric Cole's situation, 16% of the time he's inside the top 5. He's gained you tons of cash in that market over the last little while, but he just hasn't won. So we kind of like his upside, but not his like winning upside. We like his top 5 upside. If you take a look, he's been flirting with top 5 recently. Maybe he gets back in the mix there. And the thing is, he's been playing Genesis, Pebble, Century. Like half of his starts have been these elevated events, these signature events. So we'll see what he can get up to in a bit of a weaker field. It is a bit of a stronger field, but also not a full swing type situation. Not a full swing type situation. We'll have to see. I like his chances. It looks like he's playing good golf. He's had a bit of a week off since Mexico. Let's see what Eric Cole can do. Let's see what he can do. All right. Moving on down the odds board here. We had another bet that we want to chat about, and its name is Christian Bezuidenhout. Take a look at Bezzy. Second in the upside market. God damn. He's going to be at minus 105, top 40 at Bet365. Christian Bezuidenhout is in the hizzy. He's the guy. If you take a look at what his top 40 rate is on the PGA Tour, it's 40%. His top 20 rate's only 17 with 8% in top 10. So, like, I don't know about that upside bet, even though he's like second in the model for upside, 8th for safety. Like, he's ahead of Rory in upside, which is concerning. But also at the same time, it's kind of validated. He's got great course comp history here. He's got great history here. And his approach play has been phenomenal. Rory's approach play has been all over the place. His driver is his biggest weapon. I don't know how much he can gain off the tee at this kind of a venue. We'll have to see what happens. But Ezzy, boy, oh boy. If you take a look at his approach play, the poor shot avoidance rate is his number one thing. He loves these difficult golf courses. He doesn't like to hit good shots. He doesn't like to do that at all. And his wedge play is sporadic. So without too many wedges this week, he's a very good mid-iron player, and his poor shot avoidance rate is exceptional. He's actually even better with poor shots from 200 and out. He's 7th in the field. So, like, the further away it gets for Bezzy, the better he's starting to play. It's, like, incredible. I did never expect Bezzy to be this kind of a golfer, but we're going to kind of take the passive route and see what's going on with him. I don't mind Bezzy at all for a top 40. If you take a look at what he's been up to, people thinking he's going to win a tournament. He had that second place finish at the Amex. I get it. It's the Amex. It was weird. 3 rounds before the cut, he kind of came charging up the leaderboard. But Bezzy's had a 42nd and a 25th at this golf course the last 2 years. And his last 4 starts have all been top 30s. 3 of the last 3 have been 24th, 28th, and 20th. So he doesn't like to kind of get in the top 20. He likes to just flirt with the top 20. Doesn't go steady with it. He kind of chats up and then kind of leaves it alone. So I love the top 40 bet there. I feel like that's the way to bet Bezzy. He potentially could do very well this week. I would love to see him play good golf. But I think the way to go is top 40 market for him. 51% implied odds at minus 105. He does it 46% of the time. I think we've got a different Bezzy right now. You could ramp that number up a lot. We've seen, the last 3 or 4 starts. He's doing it at like a really ridiculous clip. Got a little message here from John. What you saying here, John? Thanks for the show. Always good info. I know he's way down there, but we'll be falling into the trap that is Novak recency bias in perhaps the top 20 at plus 400. Yeah, I think we just spoke about Novak and potentially going to him with a no, that was CT Pan. I think Novak isn't terrible to kind of bet him for a top 10 upside or a top. If you want to bet the top 40, I mean the top 20 at plus 400, I don't see that big of a deal with that. He's been playing good golf. He's sitting inside like the 38th in the model. The top 10 and top 20 return has been good for him. So 29th here. I don't know, John. I would probably prefer to bet him more aggressively because I think you won't have to bet that much to return that much at a course that volatility is really high. On a golfer that's very volatile. He's only had 2 good starts the last few times, but we did bet Andrew Novak for a win, so we like what we're going on there. That's what's cooking. I think Billy Horschel is worth a look. I'm looking to kind of bet Billy Horschel for some reason. He's 42nd in the model for upside. If we take a look at his market, the top 5 markets where Billy shines, I guess, and top 40s, he's been struggling the last little while, but he's got great course history. He's got great comp course history. He's had 2 42nds and 2 16ths at this golf course in the last 5 years, which means he's made the cut in all 4 and finished 42nd or better in all 4. That's good. He's finished 41st at the Phoenix Open and finished 18th at the Sony. So I'm kind of looking to bet Billy Horschel top 40. Hopefully we get some plus money numbers. I'm going to pull that up right now and take a look at Billy Horschel's situation. Let's type in Billy here and see. Billy Horschel, plus 115 for a top 40. Yes, I like that. I like it a lot. Take a look at this. We've got these 2 42nds, a 16th. He doesn't quite have that upside. We've got another 41st, another 18th in the last 2 of his last 4 starts. I like it. The Sony, he played nicely. He putted his brains out. But I think Billy suits this golf course. We love the comp course history. If you take a look at what he's been up to, it's been putting, it's been short game. The irons aren't necessarily where we want them to be, but he's just playing good golf in general recently. I think I like him at this golf course. I think it suits him. His weighted poor shot avoidance is a great situation here. It's 9th in weighted poor shot avoidance. Hits tons and tons of greens. His good shot rate is not very good. So maybe that's why he thrives at these kind of venues. Not going to be doing good stuff at Birdie Fest with a 94th weighted good shot percentage, but with poor shot avoidance, with tons and tons of water around, that makes tons of sense. So we love that. And it's mainly got to do with poor shot avoidance out of the rough. He's pretty good at avoiding poor shots out of the rough, which at this golf course, these guys are going to be hitting fairways at a 60% clip. So 40% of your shots are coming out of the rough, Billy. And if you're that good out of the rough with that kind of stuff, beautiful, beautiful stuff. So we're going to be betting Billy Horschel for a top 40 at plus 115 at Bet365. Let's take a quick peek and see if DraftKings has a better number, and then we go from there. I'm kind of curious as to see this because he's Billy Horschel. I know my man Drew's fading him in our cesspool. God bless you. Plus 140. So that's a situation where we're getting 25 points of value. And Billy does tend to flirt with that absolute 42nd. He's not necessarily crushing. So I think we're going to just stick with the ties paid in full at Bet365 at plus 115. I think that's a fair option. So that's where we're going with Billy. Let's take a quick peek here and see if we want to bet anybody else. The computer is frozen. I think there were also some questions in the chat about some guys earlier that I want to answer. Crown Royal is not a beer. Crown Royal is better, not beer. Oh, are you a Crown Royal guy? Guy. Whatever. We'll just call you a guy for now. The model situation, Pavan, yep, all that jazz. Knapp. Okay, I think we've answered all the questions, yeah. Should we pull up the Corn Ferry Tour guys and take a quick peek at a few of these dudes? We've got 28 of them. I think I really enjoyed doing that last week. Here they are. We've got guys that are in the 5K range. You know, I feel like I'm going to be going back to the Minwoo's situation's interesting. I've been looking to try and fade him. He's all the way down here in the model for me, like 43rd. Look at this. Look at the problem with Minwoo. It's blood red across the board for weighted proximity numbers, weighted green regulations, weighted good shots, weighted poor shots. He doesn't hit a lot of good shots. He doesn't avoid poor shots. All across the board. It's like outside of the strokes gain numbers are solid. They're much better than his poor shot and good shot rates, but he's going to be hitting so many into the freaking water. I know he finished well here last year, but in my opinion, the 26th in 2023 is just too much short game. So awesome, man. Best stats in the biz. Thanks for the good work, but sometimes you just have to go with the feel. And oh, you were asking about Bads. Yeah, let's go to Bads. I'll look him up real quick. He's actually not. He's like right underneath Minwoo. You know, like he grades out well. So Aaron Badley and Mondo, we might be doing a Badley top 40 bet, yeah, bud. So let's take a quick peek at Aaron Badley. Aaron Badley, I'm going to do a quick find here. Aaron, plus 230 for a top 40 on DraftKings. Aaron Badley for a top 40 on Bet365. Let's take a look. We're just going to search him here. Plus 240. Ooh, yes. So we're getting the same exact. We're getting better odds for tires paid in full at Bet365 at plus 240. That's a top 40 bet right there, if you ask me. So plus 240 is an implied probability of 29%. Aaron Badley, over the last 19 starts, has done that 53% of the time. He hates top 20ing, but he loves a top 40. So let's take a quick peek at his recent form. And what would you know? We've got 3 straight top 40s. Mondo, you beautiful thing. I would never have thought about betting that because I've been way behind and not doing anything I should have. Let's do Aaron Badley, plus 240 for a top 40. I mean, 3 consecutive top 40s entering the week. He missed the cut in his only start here, which is whatever. I don't know how well he was playing back then. Badley's also been playing solid. Like, the short game is ridiculous right now. Chipping and putting is the way he's absolutely dominating right now. Off the tee, he's super short, but the accuracy is still at least there. It's like what he does better. And then we take a look at his weighted poor shot avoidance. It's 88. He hits a lot of good shots, actually. Interesting. Most of them coming with the wedges. The poor shot avoidance rates aren't the best, but he's playing good golf right now. So I think at plus 240, if you're looking for a bet, that's the way to go. So I don't mind that whatsoever, Mondo. Thank you. Let's do this. We had to make this bet a yellow one because we didn't want to forget to do that. Oh, and we wanted to make sure that we don't want to bet Billy Horschel. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I think that's going to... Oh, and Carson Young. Oh, my God. Okay. Carson Young, top 20 as well. Absolutely going to crush this mark. Look at this. He's a top 20 rate of 32%. It's one of the better top 20 rates for returns as well. He would have returned you $500 over the last 12 months trying to win 100. So Carson Young, let's take a quick peek. I know Raza was on him for a top 20. I think Pat was also on him for a top 20. Carson Young, top 20 is plus 375. Yep. Let's go. I love that. Absolutely love that. So we're going to be going to Carson Young. Let's take a look and see what his top 20 rate is for DraftKings, just to make sure we're not missing out on some value. Carson Young is plus 400. Yeah, so plus 375 is the way to go. I think that's the one we want. Carson Young, plus 375 for a top 20. Boom. I know some people are betting him top 40, but to me, you're missing out on that upside. He finishes inside the top 20, only 8% less than he does top 40. So, like, he's one of these guys that when he's playing well, he plays well. So I would bet the top 20 and leave the top 40 alone. You're missing out on value there. The top 40 takes you all the way back to like plus 137. So that's just a fun little tidbit over there. We're going to kind of scoot on now and do our thing. So we found some fun bets that we weren't quite. Oh, one more, don't we have? And it's Sam Ryder. 18% implied probability at plus 450. If you take a look at this course history, he's 15th in the field because he's got 2 consecutive top 10s at this golf course. We've had a 31st at Pebble. He's been playing like absolute garbage. So maybe we just bet this guy for a top 10. I don't even know if we're going to bet him top 20. Take a quick look at Sam Ryder here. I think that would be a fun way to kind of take advantage of his upside potentially and then go from there. Plus 1,200 for a top 10 for Sam Ryder. To me, that's the way to go. Plus 500 for a top 20. If you take a look at his top 20 rate, maybe we do the plus 500. Let's do that. Sam Ryder's numbers moved from plus 450 to plus 500. He's finished inside the top 20, 22% of his time. The top 10 rate, not necessarily that good for him. I like the plus 500 over there. I like I don't know if I want to bet the plus 175 for a top 40. So we'll bet Sam Ryder top 40, top 20 at plus 500. Fun times. Okay, now for the Corn Ferry Tour, guys. Let's do this thing. Boom, chakalaka. Okay, so I found Joe Highsmith to be very intriguing at $5,300. He, to me, is somebody that I really, really like this week. Let's hide a few of these things, get them out of the way so we can really zoom in and have a good time. We don't need this. We know how these guys got in. So Joe Highsmith, if you take, and you know what we're going to be doing? I think we're going to add Joe Highsmith to the mix as well, folks. I hate to say it. If you take a look at what Joe Highsmith has done the last little while, it's actually been quite good. He's finished inside the top 40 quite a few times. He's got 2 top 40 finishes on the PGA Tour in 4 starts at the Farmers and at the American Express. What Joe Highsmith does best is the difficult stuff. Let me pull him up here quickly. Here you go, Joe Highsmith. So yeah, if you take a look at this, the 4 starts, 50% top 40 rate, all of that jazz. These stats are meaningless because he's hardly been in the field. So if you go over to the Corn Ferry Tour side of things, filter on medium scoring, which I'm not going to do the hard scoring because that only like brings in two people's stats. But the medium scoring, he's the third best golfer outside of Nicholas Lindheim and Ben Coles when it comes to that situation. So we are playing this week. And he's $5,300. So he's a $5,300 candidate that we definitely want to look at. And I'm going to pull him up for a top 40 right now. Joe Highsmith for a top 40 is plus 240. Yeah. It's not like what we were getting. We were getting Aaron Badley for much better than that. Right? Plus 240 as well. I guess. Okay. Well, I don't know if I want to take that chance at plus 240. I do like him as a placement, as a DFS at $5,300 though. I think that's to me where he can shine for you. He's a short game guy. It seems like around the green, and these irons haven't been the greatest, but the around the green play's been pretty solid. He seems to get it in the hole. He just seems to get it in the hole, does Joe Highsmith. So we really like him a lot. Ben Coles did some interesting, I think he WD'd from the Mexico. I had him in one of my lineups. Yeah, he WD'd. So that is a concern. I don't like to see that. Like everything went badly. I don't know if he was sick. I don't know if he was injured. So we're just going to leave him alone. No go. No go on Ben. I think, we'll have to just leave him alone because unless we find out some better information on him. Rio Hitsitsuni from the DP World Tour, Spencer's guy. Loves the medium score. He's not a birdie fest dude. He's a medium scoring, hard scoring dude. If you take a look at what Rio Hitsitsuni gets up to, boy, oh boy, does he like the hard scoring conditions. And I'm actually going to even just pull up his stuff here quickly. Rio, where the hell are you? This is in alphabetical order, so we're going to find him right here. Take a look at what Rio Hitsitsuni gets up to. This is his profile from the Euro Tour. If we take a look at hard scoring, medium scoring, he missed the cut in one of the hard courses, finished 16th in another, won a medium course scoring condition, 8th in one of them, 8th in his final one. So like there's a lot to like about Hitsutsune. All of his better finishes were medium course scoring. I think the Zozo was a bit more challenging than normal. That's where he finished 6th on the PGA Tour. So a lot to like from Hitsutsune. We'll see what he can get up to. I love him a lot this week. I think everyone was kind of in the mood for him last week where they were kind of getting a little ahead of themselves. He plays great on hard courses. He plays great on medium courses. Let's go. Alexander Bjork hasn't quite thrived so far, but if you take a look at his stuff, he's also a medium and hard course guy. He's easy scoring, not necessarily the best on the DP World Tour there. Anytime he had an easy scoring situation, it wasn't like he had 1 second place there. But if you take a look at all the mediums, 10th. If you take a look at another medium, 4th, 9th, 6th on hard courses, 4th again. Just every time there's medium and hard, he finds himself inside the top 10. So I think I like Bjork. The scrambling, the around the green play, the putting, great. Distance, shit. Accuracy, great. Strokes gained approach, great. So that's the situation we're going to with Bjork here. He's not the best on par 5s because he doesn't have a lot of distance. Guess what? 2 par 5s on this golf course. Technically 3, but the one of them was literally a par 4 a year ago. So we're going to definitely rock and roll there. Who do I like for one and done this week? Chucky? Ooh, that's a good question. That's a really good question. And I've been floating the I can't actually give you the answer right now because I haven't made up my mind. But it's going to be one of my outrights, obviously. And it's between Berger. It's between, I think I did Tom Kim at Pebble, so I can't even do him. It's between Berger and it's between, let me pull these guys up again quickly just to make sure I know what I'm doing. Where are we? Okay. That's last week. That's back now. So we got Pavon. We've already done Pavon. I don't like Hoagie's downside. Maybe Chris Kirk. I think a lot of people played Chris Kirk at the Amex or the Sony. So maybe Chris Kirk is a good one. And Benny On. So it's between Berger, Chris Kirk, and Benny On for me. I would definitely be looking at those guys as my one and dones for sure. If that answers your question, I will be doing the one and done article for Rotoballer that is free for you guys to read tomorrow. I'll have my guy in there for you. Chucky, thank you for joining the show, my friend. Alexander Bjork, he's a yellow guy. We're absolutely going to go to him for sure. Jacob Bridgman, I don't think he's been performing too well on the PGA Tour so far, but his best scoring situation is the medium course scoring. His bogey avoidance rate is pretty darn good. I think he only makes bogeys at like an 11% rate when there's other guys like Bobby Mack making it 15, Ryan Fox, Paul Barjon, Norman Yang, all at like 15, 16%. Let's take a quick peek at Jacob Bridgman. I think he's someone we kind of contemplated last week, but I think the lack of distance was concerning. He's made 2 cuts as well, the American Express and the Farmers. He putts well when he feels like it, but also these are like really small sample sizes. We'll have to see. Off the tee, he's struggling, but he's accurate. So maybe we're going to see some guys with some accuracy. I know Joe Idoni is leaning into distance this week, but for the guys down the board that we're not looking to win the tournament, for guys that we're looking to kind of just sneak through, I think accuracy can still solve your problems for you. So we're going to be looking at Jacob Bridgman. He is $5,600. We're getting some really good value here on all these guys that are these medium course specialists, and there's good reason to go to them. They've been playing some good solid golf. Toasty burnt us in Mexico badly. We had him in like 15% of our 150 lineups. Thanks, Chucky. Yeah, we've got a great team, man. Joe Spence and I, we love it. The 2 Joes, Spence and Ian and Matty Mills, like we've got abundance of talent over at Rotoballer, so we really appreciate you, man. Thanks for that awesome compliment there. Toasty, what the hell are you going to get up to? He likes the medium course scoring, likes the easy, doesn't like the hard. So maybe we leave him alone. But also the hard is just, it's not necessarily going to be hard courses. These guys never played that much of. Did I type him in as Toasty or did I type him in as Alejandro? It was Toasty. Okie dokie. Let's take a look at his stuff here. So if we take a look at all the he's only had two medium and hard, two hard courses, missed the cut and finished 31st. He won on a medium course, but he dominated round 1 and round 4, gaining a total of 16 and a half strokes in 2 rounds of golf. Okay, if you like that kind of thing. So that's why you like Toasty in Showdown. I don't know at a golf course like this if I'm going to play him for week long. So we're going to just leave Toasty as a Showdown play, potentially a round one option. So we'll see what he gets up to there. We're going to make him orange. I don't know. He's too volatile for me. I don't think he can string together 4 good rounds at this golf course. Griesemann, Max Griesemann. Let's pull up his little thing. So in my Korn Ferry 45 article, these screenshots are all over the place. You can find them for every one of these golfers. And this situation here that we can filter on all the different scoring is available to our premium members in the Rotoballer Discord. So just for your information, use code Maniac for 10% off if you want to get in there. Shoot me a DM afterwards and I'll help you out to get right in there. So Griesemann, par 5 scoring is his best. He does nice on the medium and the hard. I don't know what's going on here. He's solid with distance, accuracy. It's like nothing exceptional anywhere. Hasn't won, obviously, on the tour. Just didn't really... How did he get in? He had 2 or 3 top 2 finishes, and that was pretty much it. He had 1 or 2 top 6s. I don't know. Unless he's done anything on the PGA Tour, we might be out on Max Griesemann. Yeah, we're done. We're not going to deal with this guy. I don't like him at all. That doesn't seem like someone we want to deal with this week. Okay, Jorge Campillo. I think he's fascinating. His best stat is the medium scoring. He's terrible on par 5s. He's pretty darn good on par 3s and par 4s. Not so much on the par 4s, but decent on the par 3s. Let's take a look at his situation. I think I like him at this golf course. And I think what I've seen his name popping up a little bit. So let's see if we can find Campillo. It's always fun trying to find these names here on the fly. Here's Jorge. And he went through a little phase here where he got into this medium and hard scoring on the Euro Tour and had himself a week. That's Josh Tito. Why is he showing up? Max Griesemann. Where's Jorge gone? Let's find Jorge. Okay. Had himself an absolute... Oh, can we just... Ooh. Okay. Interesting. Had himself a period of time here in February and March, which we are right back in again. Maybe he's playing that golf of that time of the year. The 26th of February is when it started for him. So we are right around that time. He had some medium course scoring, dominated, absolutely dominated. 4th, 1st, 9th, 3rd, and 8th in 5 consecutive starts on medium and hard golf courses. And then kind of just lost his plot for the last little while, missed a few cuts, but that was some exceptional golf he played. So we could potentially see that kind of a resurgence, especially when he finished 19th, 2nd, and 12th in October, November of the DP World Tour season. So there's a lot going on. What on earth is his situation on the PGA Tour the last little while? I think I've seen him in Showdown over the weekend. So that means he's been playing some good golf in Mexico. Good. Love it. Love it. Okay, we're in. Lost off the tee in Mexico. Didn't have lots of distance. That's fine. This week, I think maybe he's just going to have to figure his stuff out off the tee. But the rest of his game seems like it can suit this kind of a golf course. I like Campillo as an option. Remember, we're going to be playing 150 lineups because we want to really take advantage of our edge that we believe we have over here with these Korn Ferry guys. You know, we saw Jake Knapp. He was one of the guys we had in our lineups. We had Rafael Campos make the cut for us at $5,300. Didn't quite finish strong through the weekend, but had a hole-in-one and birdie, which was a birdie streak. So there's these Korn Ferry Tour guys that can really help you round out your card and go on, and really, really make you different in these big contests. We obviously like Pavan. We'll see what his ownership is. He plays good golf on these medium courses. We bet him outright, obviously. We'll like him a lot. Kind of keep an eye on the ownership, though. Mac Masna is very, like, what on earth is this creator golfer? So Mac Masna, if you take a look at his medium scoring, it's pretty darn good considering he's not a birdie fest guy. His bogey avoidance rate is 14%. The birdie average is only he's not a very good birdie guy at all, I wouldn't say. But his bogey avoidance rate also not the best. He dominates the par fives, which is not good because there's only 2 here this week. Let's take a look at what he's been up to. What does his profile look like? McClure Masna, where are you? Yeah, you are. Miscut to end the year, and then had a third, then a miscut, 22nd, 24th, and a third. So he's got like this streaky form of his. Had a very tough summer. Didn't really play very good then. But yeah, the medium and hard courses came to his aid towards the end of the season, but also like not necessarily, I don't know. Let's take a look at his data golf stuff. He's not screaming anything to me, but we'll have to see. Masna. Mac. There we go. Hasn't made a cut yet, and it's been bad. So leave him, and it's all distance. Cool. Easy. Not playing him. That's fine. No. Not playing you, Mac. Sorry, bud. Would like to, but not. Bobby Mack. We're going to go back to back. Return of the Mac. Over here. Bobby McIntyre on the DP World Tour. He's been playing some scrappy. He's been trending as well, but I think he's a very popular name. Let's take a look at what Bobby's been up to. I think we'll see a bit more stuff in his data golf than actually just putting up that screenshot. So he finished 6th at the Mexico Open, played nicely across the board, nothing exceptional outside of off the tee stuff, drove it nicely. He seems like he can drive the ball well, and he's driving it quite nicely right now. So what we're seeing from Bobby, off the tee's been great, accuracy and distance. So he's kind of like a fat Scottish Keith Mitchell in a way that finished 6th at the Mexico. Let's pull him back up in our model and see what Bobby's been up to. I'm not entirely sure. You're on Bobby Mack this week. Criminal 012. What did you do, bud? So Bobby Mack off the tee, obviously been playing good, blah, blah, blah. So he doesn't have too much data for us. Once he gets to the weekend, he starts to play good golf, finish nice at the Mexico, all that jazz. We don't really have that much information. It does look like he putts better on Bermuda than normal. So for what that's worth. The new Shane Lowry. Yeah, I can kind of see Bobby Mack being the new Shane. Who, by the way, I like from a DFS perspective as well this week. Okay, so let's get back to our stuff here. Bobby Mack, 6,500. I think it's going to be ownership dependent. For me, I'm not like overly thrilled about what I'm seeing there. I feel like the irons in particular are what concern me at this golf course. Jake Knapp, our boy, our golden child, $8,400. I don't think he's going to be owned whatsoever. He actually plays like people think he's like just a long course guy. He made the cut at the Sony as well, but I don't know how I feel about him coming right off of a win. Guy's obviously been partying his face off. He putts well. He's a good scrambler. His irons are very good. And if you think about his distance, he's not going to be having to hit too many drivers here this week. So maybe he's a DFS option. I mean, who the heck knows? Maybe he does good stuff. I mean, we've got Phoebe, please. I don't know. He never won on the Corn Ferry Tour, so who the heck knows? I think if he's super owned, we're going to have to leave him alone. We're going to have to make him a orange bucket here. We always have, I think Mrs. Maniac just showed up. All right. David Skins plays quite nice golf on medium scoring, like his best golf, and he's $5,000 flat. And I think he kind of popped up a little bit for us in Mexico. Never played too many Corn Ferry Tour events. Played nicely. He won a medium scoring event on the Corn Ferry in March. played really badly to end the season. Okay. Par 5 scoring is his best hole, makes tons of birdies. I think he's more of a birdie fest guy, not a good scrambler, and bad at avoiding bogeys. Just based off that profile, we're out, I think. Let's just double check. Because I think, yeah, we're out. Not doing enough for us right now. Okie dokie. So moving on to the next. David Skins is a red for us. We're going to continue moving down the board. Victor Perez at $5,600. Interesting name for us there. Let's take a look at his picture. I know he's a Corn Ferry Tour guy. I mean, a DP World Tour guy. Putting average, pretty good. His bogey avoidance rate's pretty darn good compared to his birdie rate. He's not a birdie guy, not an easy scoring condition guy. Good putter. Doesn't have a lot of distance, doesn't have a lot of accuracy. Good iron player, it seems. So let's take a quick peek at his situation here. I'm curious to see what Perez has been up to. Hasn't made the cut at the Mexico. The iron play has been pretty good lately. Tons of distance and a bit of accuracy. We'll have to see what he can get up to. The putting and the short game has been very bad. So if he can ball strike his way around this golf course, maybe we go to him. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens for him. We're going to make him orange and ownership dependent. I doubt he becomes popular. I don't know. I think I like the yellow guys we have at the top here a lot more, especially Joe Highsmith, Jacob Bridgman, Alexander Bjork, Jorge Campillo. Those kind of names definitely ring a bell for me. Chandler Phillips, I know Spencer's been a fan of. Let's pull up Chandler Phillips' situation. Take a quick peek at him. He is good at avoiding 3 putts. He loves hard scoring, which he played 2 rounds of. He finished 7th in one of them, missed the cut in the other. 1 on a medium course. Has had multiple random finishes on easy courses too. So there's nothing too crazy there. Accuracy and distance, same situation. He's kind of had a good ending to his season with some miscuts and some high-end finishes, which for a $5,300 golfer, I can deal with. What was his price tag? $5,900. Interesting. So he's a little bit more expensive than the rest of the gang. Chandler Phillips. He's been up to the last little while. 24th at Mexico, 25th. He's made all 4 cuts. And it's because he doesn't have tons and tons of distance, but he's got decent accuracy, above average, not like incredibly much better. Okay. Solid around the green, solid with the putter. Very interesting. Now, whether or not this gets exponentialized or exaggerated on the difficult PGA National is yet to be determined. But, I mean, this guy's made 4 consecutive cuts. He's feeling it right now. Playing some solid, and 2 top 25s. Finished 6th at the Corn Ferry Tour Championship. So that's very interesting for him. Okay, Chandler. I'll sign you up at $5,900. I think Spencer's onto something there. Rico Hoey starting to get into the situation here where Rico is not good with the putter at all. It's like an abomination, folks. It's an abomination. It's an abomination. No, thank you. Can't do it. Ball striking's awesome. Putting, it's just, it's like bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. So we're out on him. I think Chris Gotterup, according to Andy, had food poisoning. So I don't know what's going to happen with him this week. How's he been playing? I don't think he's been playing that great. I think the week for him was last week. So maybe he's missed his opportunity to thrive. Farmers, he finished 50th, never made the cut anywhere else. I'm out on him. I don't think this off the tee stuff is not going to be there with this kind of distance going forward. So, yeah, I agree with Phoebe. Chris Gotterup ain't our guy. Ben Silverman was playing good. He was playing good at Mexico. What's his profile look like? Kind of scooting through some bottom of the barrel guys right now. Okie dokie. Ben Silverman, accurate. So that's good to see. Plays easy. Not often you see an accurate guy play the easy scoring conditions the best. But that's the way he goes. He has won on a medium course, but most of his mediums, he missed multiple cuts early. Oh boy, that's an interesting profile. I like how this fits. He's horrible on par fives, great on par fours. This is an interesting name. There's a lot of like good traits about this guy. Was playing nice. Oh baby, Mexico and Sony. Putted very well at Mexico. Hit some really bad approach shots. He's very accurate. Love all of that. Cool. I think I like him this week. We're going to be playing Ben Silverman for sure. $6,000. Patrick Fishburne. I remember giggling at him last week. Some interesting situations with him. He is I think he's a bomber as well. Hasn't made a cut. We're out. And it's all distance dependent. Okay. So here's a red. Jimmy Stanger. Also, I know Jimmy. It's all distance. I don't think I like the fact that he's going to be... He played nicely in Mexico, but he's one of these guys that I think is not going to translate well from the Mexico to... Why am I pulling this up? We want Jimmy, not Mexico. Jimmy Stang. 38th at Mexico, 14th at the American Express. Missed the cut at the Sony. So that's kind of his situation. It's all off the tee with tons and tons of distance. I think he gained 7 strokes off the tee at Mexico. Not going to be doing that around you. I think Steven Yeager had an incredible week and gained 6 at this golf course. So that's not going to be on the cards at all. The approach play is bad. The around the green play is okay. And the putting is here and there. Nope, out on him. Can't do Jimmy Stanger this week. We're not really... Ryan Fox is not hitting his irons well at all. What did the Fox say? Ding, ding, ding. Approach play is not good at all. So we'll have to leave him alone, unfortunately, until further notice. He's not playing good golf right now at all. So Ryan Fox is out of the mix, out of the hole. Paul Barjon. Pull him up. Take a quick peek at his situation. Hasn't made a cut outside of the Amex. All distance off the tee. Approach plays bad. Around the green plays bad. That's an easy no, even though he's $5,100. Norman Yang. Let's go to his quick name here. I think he's an interesting polarizing player, but he hasn't made a cut on the PGA Tour outside of 79th at the Sony. So he made the cut and just disintegrated over the weekend. Distance off the tee, mainly, bit of accuracy here and there. Approach play has been very bad. Criminal. We got to go back to, I don't know. I've spoken about CT Pan. We love him. We love him for a top 10. We love him for a top 5. We love him for an outright. So, yes. Just to get back to you there. But showing up a tad late, we did discuss CT Pan already. Parker Cootie, I think, is a guy you want to be playing on the easy scoring conditions. He's a ball striker who likes the distance. Let's take a look here. Played nicely at the Farmers, played nicely at the Mexico, missed the cut at the Amex, and the Sony finished 74th. Approach play has been great. Distance off the tee, solid off the tee, around maybe. I mean, this guy, let's take a look at his profile here and see if any of them were medium scorings. Cootie, Parker, where are you? He's definitely the brother you want to play because Pearson ain't it. So easy, like his medium scoring has been bad. Like he missed the cut in the first 3, missed the cut at the next medium scoring, 36th at another one. Then he finished 5th, I guess, at the Pinnacle and missed. It's just hasn't embraced the difficult scoring life. Although his bogey avoidance is pretty good, he's not a very good par 3 scorer, which is interesting considering he's a really good iron player. But his easy scoring conditions, easily his best number. Par 5 scoring, very good. Ooh, I like what he's doing on the PGA Tour right now. I mean, you've made 3 cuts out of 4. That's great. We'll have to see how popular he is, because that's the thing. If he's too popular, but popularity at what, $50, $100? Maybe that's the reason why. He's a definite cash game play if you're looking for that. You just think it's going to be a birdie fest. No, dude, this golf course is difficult, criminal. Like, it's not going to be a birdie fest. I mean, guys will get, a few of the leaders will get to like minus 15 maybe, because there's an extra shot given to them on the score on that par 5 10th that's been changed from a par 4. But this golf course is difficult. And I think the weather's going to pick up. We're going to have to see what happens. But Jaeger's good. I like him DFS, like him top 20. I don't know if he's going to win this tournament. He just doesn't hang around. Chan Kim, we like him at easy scoring conditions. He's not good on these difficult tracks. So I'm just going to be out on him, even though he played nicely last week. We were on him last week. This guy is playing such bad golf, Adrian, so we out on him. Dude, okay. Difficult for the bums that played it last year. I don't know about that, my friend. Let's go and take a look here. I guess the field wasn't as amazing as it was, but like Shane Lowry thrives on these kind of golf courses. He only got to -9. There's the thing about this course is, I guess you're right. I mean, not necessarily the greatest golfers in the world, but I think you typically see these guys. No, I agree. Like, I'm actually agreeing with you on the fact that, the field wasn't amazing, but it's still a difficult golf course in general. Like, if you take a look at take a look at this, for instance. He has 2020 scoring. Sungjae Im won it at -6 ahead of Fleetwood, Lee Westwood, Brendan Steele, Benny Arn, Daniel Berger, Russell Henley, Luke Donald. Like, Luke Donald wasn't necessarily thriving and surviving in then, but these are Fleetwood, Westwood, Steele, Arn, Berger, Gary Woodland, Russell. These are all guys that play very well at this golf course, and they only got to -3. It was mainly to do with the round 1, which must have been a breezy round 1. So you got to monitor the weather, and round 3, I guess, was also quite breezy. So interesting stuff. If you take a look at these scoreboards over the years, Matt Jones won it at -12, but the next guy was at -7. Brandon Steele again, -6. Russell Henley, -6. CT Pan, -6. So Sungjae, Sam Ryder, all solid options this week too, I guess, except for Sungjae. I'm out on him. Anyway, that's it. Did a little Corn Ferry deep dive at the end of the show there. I really appreciate you all. Jake Knapp, you beautiful thing. Got us rocking the mullet. Got us rocking the shirt. I really appreciate everybody in the chat. Really appreciate all the subscribers. If you're new and haven't subscribed, please keep that going for me. Don't forget to hit the like button, tell your friends about me, and really help grow this channel. I've really enjoyed what is going on here. So let's have ourselves a great Honda Clash Cognizant. Let's cash our outrights. Let's cash our placements. Let's have a good time. Breaking 100 will be out in the morning. Stat Buffet will be out tonight. And there we will be going. Back 9 bets. We'll have Joe Idoni on tomorrow. We'll be having a great time. Oh, we got a South African. We got a Booty in the house here from Criminal. Awesome, bud. Have a lacquer rest of your night. And we will catch you guys tomorrow. Don't forget to use code Maniac for premium stuff over at rotorball.com. Peace.